Well, we're one day away from what I think is everyone's considering June 27th, the start of tour. I saw Flow Marching posted earlier. So the Muncie, Indiana, I think is like the first thing, and that's like an exhibition.
Yeah, they're not doing scores, I don't think.
No, yeah, it's like the Yamaha Music for All thing that always happens at Ball State, and so weather allowing, I will be going to provide lot videos of Cavies, Phantom, and Crown is my goal.
Heyo.
But if it looks like it's going to rain, you won't see anything come out of it from me at least. So, because it's like a 2.5 hour drive, I'm not risking that if there's like a 60% chance of rain or something. So we'll see what happens with that. But so we figured everyone seemed to really like the 2024, walk down memory lane of all the top 12 percussion features. So we figured why not do it for 23? And over time, we'll just make our way back through as many years that have the videos out there.
All the links, back we go, the harder it'll be.
Much harder. So we won't do a long intro tonight. We're the two hosts of the Aged Out Podcast, Michael Fantini and
Evan Worrell.
And all the links to support us are in the description. Comment, like, subscribe, join, share with anyone you think would enjoy it. All right, we are good to jump in to this first one. We'll start with Blue Knights. They had that unique bass drum sound stuff, and we actually had Jeff Osdemore and I should have looked it up. His name is escaping me. He has his own YouTube channel about sound and this stuff. What is his name? Help me. Look it up. I see you typing.
On. Yeah.
It's on the tip of my tongue,
I'll get
too.
It. Yeah.
Hold.
I'll get it. Just keep going.
All right. We're going to watch BK. They had this cool sound effect stuff with the bass line. It's a feature. And then we'll just move through it. So,
James Catherall.
There it is.
Yeah.
I knew the last name began with a C, but couldn't remember it. So, sorry, James.
Sorry.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, they talked a lot about all the different textures and how they mic'd all the stuff. You can see that one hanging back there, but it was really cool. Using the tubes to change the airflow, and Mapex worked to make them like airproof, or if I remember that correctly. And I believe this was that team's first year at Blue Knights, right? Pretty sure.
Someone let us know if we're wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. But yeah, one of the most unique things I've ever seen.
Trying to kind of do some different things, to stand out.
Super unique. That video actually is on our channel. You can just look up Blue Knights 23 with Jeff Osdemore if you want to see like a breakdown of all the sound stuff they did. But just a super unique thing kicking off the video here. The whole features focus really was on that. The battery had a full battery moment, which was fine. Solid drum feature, nothing crazy, but that sound effect stuff was really the coolest part about it to me. All right, so moving right along. Next
definitely
should be
something
Blue
that
Stars.
was like memorable from like a judging perspective too. Like, oh yeah, you guys did that.
Oh yeah, and Blue Stars also had their own unique thing, which we'll watch their main feature here first, and then they have like the racks and stuff the snare drums played on with cymbals. Pretty cool moment with some of the high brass, and then so we'll watch that as well really quick here.
I will say though, I feel like I remember it was terrible staging though for that.
Yeah, not great. This is also more of a subdued take on a drum feature here. Just really building the layers.
Dude, I forget about some of these shows.
I do too.
The Absinthe show.
Some really great crescendo rolls out of the flat line throughout this so far. Again.
I remember this bass drum line was a 5 too. Nice.
Great ending. All right. Great crescendo rolls out of the flat line. Like just a solid. The phrase built really well. Like quads started out and the snares came in from behind them and then they kind of layered in together. It was just a good build, but also more of a subdued take, not a super aggressive feature.
A lot of groups too, like they don't have a lot of super long drum breaks. Some do, but a lot of groups typically weave in and out of percussion moments now.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, 30 seconds here, 30 seconds there.
Yep. But that's not true for the cadets this year, which we'll get to them in a minute. They had two just like cadet style drum features that just so fitting if that was going to be the last cadet show ever that would happen. So we'll get to that.
Bummer.
We'll get to that.
Bummer.
All right, this is the second Blue Stars feature. They're on these like rack setups. They play some good rolls on the cymbals too.
Terrible location to read though.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way that railing rang that well.
No. No. And there's like a high brass trumpets, and then the quads come in a second here, I think, with the rack supporting it. I think the quads come in. I'm just making stuff up now. All right, before I say...
the absinthe has got your brain all
yeah,
jacked.
clearly. All right, next, I believe, should be Troopers. Troopers was one, they had a couple features too. This is the one that kind of stuck out the most to me. So...
This was the first part of their, like, trilogy of shows.
Yep. To Lasso the Sun with that cool ass prop they made. Got the harmonica. Were those threes in the left? Or just really fast tight twos? Split sounded good.
It sounded good, but
yeah,
volume drops.
Another split. Good Hocket trade-off there. Yeah, this feature was unique because notice, like, they're up front, they do their thing, then they keep ramming as the horns layer in very subtly. And they fade away as they exit the center
really
stage.
Have to be very responsible for good tempo, too, as you're pushing backfield, making sure you don't slow down.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I will say, too, it's interesting. I just thought of this. They had the harmonica accompaniment with the feature at the beginning there. Well, 2024, they had the guitarist. Or was that was 4, right? We just watched that. Or am I going nuts?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was 24.
2024. Yeah.
So they have like like the guitar accompaniment feature, and then they have a harmonica. Like, they're just adding interesting sounds to the drum feature to spice it up, which is cool. Next is Colts. Now, disclaimer on the Colts video, like we said, this is from August 1st, a rehearsal run, because their finals run is not there. So we'll still get a good read of the feature.
Probably better outside than in Lucas Oil anyway.
Probably. Oof, great rolls. The isolation on those are really hard.
Keeps going.
Camera work. Oof, that was a great roll. Yeah. Let's do that again. Ooh, the stutters. Yeah, the bursts. Almost had it all
out,
down.
but hot rehearsal. Still got a couple weeks of school left.
School,
but I mean, a couple weeks of school, a couple weeks of tour left. I'm in high school mode.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, even the audio on this phone sounds better than like the stream in Lucas Oil.
I want everybody to listen as we watch these final multicam runs for the rest of these groups here in a second. The staging of these drum lines has to be up front now. The judges can't come on the field. And it puts them right in front of a lot of microphones, So like you'll hear just like shots that don't sound right because the mics are right there, and then like it just distorts it, which is unfortunate for the videos that will live on forever ever for these members. But what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Yep. But yeah, I feel like that was
film your rehearsals outside.
That was probably the best drum line I've heard out of these groups so far. I mean, they finished above the other ones, but it's was a much more mature, full battery sound, just a more dense sound to everything. All the rolls, the blend of the ensemble, the writing itself was just more difficult, more dense, more stuff going on. All right.
Drum line from good percussion for the Colts that year.
Mm-hmm. Mandarins is next, and they're definitely one that has some weird. They don't have a real feature, in my opinion. It's a lot of short, like 20-second, 15-second moments. So
yeah, there was like 5 or 6 that really short.
So we're gonna highlight 2 of them that stood out to us the most. So here we go.
That silo run after that too.
Mm-hmm. Great control of the singles.
This is a fun show too.
I think that's it for this moment.
That pops back in here, I think.
Oh, it does. We'll let it go.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, great. Out to edge, back to center. Control moving the sticks around. Yep.
A lot of control.
All right.
There was another one like 530 or something like that.
Yeah, 530. Yeah. Bueller. We'll go a little farther back.
Smile.
It's a space.
Your heart is aching.
Smile. Little burst roll.
Very vertically written phrase. Ooh, the singles stay crescendoing down and then crescendo and the roll back up. That was good.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, we're going to keep this moving along. Phantom Regiment is next. And this was Matt Pinland and Tyler Salmon's first season, I believe, taking over at Phantom.
I believe so.
I'm pretty sure that is the case. Where are we at?
Looking forward to seeing Phantom this year.
Dude, I hope I get to go tomorrow. I hope I get to go see Phantom Cap, because we've seen some sneak peeks of Cavaliers from people we know, and I'm excited to see that in person. And Phantom, and yeah, it'd be great. Oh, hold on. I did it. Switch scenes. There we go. Just shooting up the field. Great work. Great use of the press.
Yeah.
To give hesitation
again,
to the phrase. There's a really funny trade-off shot, snare to quad here in a sec. Right there. Oh. I was talking through the RAM, so we're going to back up.
Yeah, lots of good trade-off stuff.
All right, here we go.
The interplay of the accents.
Mm-hmm.
Good bass support behind too.
Yep. And that's one where you can really hear the mics kind of like with an echo, kind of like distorting the sound a little bit, unfortunately. But it's still, the clarity still came through, but it just sounds a little weird. But yeah, tons of great interplay between the whole percussion ensemble and that. Just very intricate trade-off between shots on the snares to bass unison to quad on the Spock. Multiple intricacies to that.
Starting to notice too, these the further we get into it, the groups start marching better and better. They move better.
That was something you pointed out. Like, and I noticed it a little bit when I was looking for timestamps. It's like, man, you can really notice the difference in just flat out marching ability, even from 12th place to 5th, 6th.
Or just the drill designer setting them up for more success, I guess.
Yeah. All right. Here is the cadets. There's 2 big ones. It's just This was a good drum line.
They were good.
To be the guardian of the pillars that hold up the earth and sky.
Great entrances.
Man, I'll miss this group. Tough rhythm. The fivelets.
Yep, opening the phrase up with the 8th note 5 figures.
The threes. And the horn line just comes in at the end of this metric to chill and build back up.
Now that I just blew... Sorry, everybody, that was loud. I had it up to hear the
man.
drums. I just blew some people's eardrums out. All right, the second feature. Yeah, that was just pure energy. It was awesome. Great full
wish for
battery sound.
I wish for like semifinals they'd just come out and worn like the OG uniforms.
That we were talking about that all... Because they did it for Parade Day. They put
Yeah.
the OG uniforms on July 4th, and all of us and our friends were just like, please do it for like semifinals. Just do it. Everybody will freak out. All right,
Yeah.
second feature, also amazing. When it ends with that like ripple gut edge delicate roll. I had forgotten about that till I looked it up. Also, this whole phrase is just a vibe. What the front's doing. Pulling the rug out for the basses. Huh. The shot leads into it.
Take crescendo hand to hand.
The front, the keyboards in the front, vertical. Still not done. This was just a drumline show.
Quad line was great.
We're going all the way to the snare roll.
Hit and run.
So good. Is this not where that roll is?
That gut edge roll they just did. I can watch this whole show.
But do you know what roll I'm talking about, though? Where they were in the arc and it like rippled around it, and that they maintained it, like all of them rippling the body. I
don't
know
know
I
what you're talking
found
about.
this is gonna bug me now. Did I stop the first one too soon?
I don't know.
Oh, I know where it is. We're watching it. I found it. I have it in my notes. Dude, this whole show was just drums.
Oh, I got you. I know what you're talking about now.
Yep. Great 5-stroke burst. Alright, backing up, because listen to the front ensemble keyboards playing completely just right with what the battery's doing vertically.
Percussion section may have been underscored. I don't know.
They were.
I don't remember where they finished, but
5th.
How can just one
Maybe 6th, actually.
with such a burden? How can just one be responsible for all
The
this?
slow roll, the open, just moderate tempo. Here it is.
the pick tips.
We are immortal.
Tasty. All right, we're done freaking out about the cadets last year. Moving on.
2023 3-night average. They were 6.
Told you. All right, Crown is the other weird one, like
okay.
Mandarins.
Yeah. All right.
What?
Yeah. Never mind. Yeah, 5th was Blue Coats and 4th was Crown. I think that's a mistake. Anyway.
So we're watching Crown next. Crown was one of those that also, like Mandarins, had a bunch of like, there wasn't an actual feature, but it's a long extended phrase where the brass comes in and out, so we're just going to watch it and enjoy it towards the beginning of their show. This was year 1 under Mike Jackson of the 2 years he did there. I actually did like this Crown show a lot.
Yeah.
Dude, his bass writing.
Ooh, put the key up front. Oh, look at that. Yeah, the front to back coordination is.
Dude, the snares entering from behind the quads there. Just the ambiance of this show, this part of the show.
Sound design. Epic.
So much space in the snare
Those
feature here.
little 5 strokes.
It's a tough rhythm.
Nice.
I think that's the end of the moment. Let's check my notes. Yep, it is. Sorry, trumpets and mellows.
For someone else's podcast.
Right. Funliner can do that.
Yeah.
All right.
They probably did.
I'm sure they have. All right. Blue Devils. They had this moment that Rudy broke down with us like it's like a tank or something. That one. It'll come back to you when you watch this. If you want to hear about that, we sat down with Rudy, who runs the battery at BD, with Scott, break down like this whole book with us. So go check that out. Oh, this was the pods.
But yeah, the add in, add out. Dude, the bass hand to hand behind that.
We're gonna listen to that hand to hand again because that was just filthy.
Yeah, pay attention to that. Don't listen to the snares.
Yeah, listen to the bass line.
Sick.
Défaite
And then the
française
one at the very end.
Yeah.
a été causée par la force mécanique, aérienne et terrestre de l'ennemi. L'action de cette force mécanique,
Integrated too.
du moral, c'est celle qu'a choisi le gouvernement. L'honneur des Français consiste à continuer la guerre.
Long extended phrase.
Et nous sommes résolus à le
Those bass accents are sick.
force mécanique
Dude,
supérieure.
how are they? No offense, though, but like, how are they getting away with that?
Hold on.
All right, I'm not gonna go down that road, but
Do it. Embrace it.
I feel like this is a long time for the pit to not play. So
I remember that being a discussion point that we had during the season we were covering it. So we'll leave. If you want to hear us talk about that, go find our like.
I mean, it's a battery moment, but
Yeah. Yeah, when other groups do get a lot of crap when their front's not doing a lot during battery moments, that is kind of eyebrow raising. But
you hear that all the time, like, oh, the front's not doing this, or the battery's not doing this for X, Y, or Z group, or whatever. It's like, okay.
well, I will give kudos to the drum line for that whole phrase because it was sick. The bass line, all the up
Bass
and down
is
of the rolls, the bass
Yeah,
line
that was
was crazy good. The whole battery was good. A lot of those extended roll phrases just stayed locked in the whole time. All right, Bluecoats. This was the flower show. The old flowers. Oh, the tempo blocks.
I went to the Garden of Love.
Credit to the front line because they're moving a ton during all this too, coming front field. Oh, front to quads there. Hold up.
Dude, also just the integration of the voice as like a percussive instrument. Dude.
Very well done. Yeah, two things I'll reiterate before we let it play out. A lot of drum features, groups are just like kind of parking and playing a lot. They are running up the field, like crabbing across the field during all this stuff, and like they'll stop in little pods occasionally, but they're doing all this feature stuff coming front field. I watched, there's like an on-field video of this in rehearsal, and they're moving during all this, to their credit.
Mate vibe.
I went to the Garden of Love.
Ooh.
That's a cool rhythm.
Yeah. Dude, that Rarix arranging has been just masterful the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Just the intricacy in his writing and just like the cool stuff they do with sound and interplay. And they've played really well the last 3 seasons. I mean, they won drums in 22. They've just been a good group the last 3 years. Just really, I mean, they finished.
I went
top
back and
3.
looked, and I did predict Cadets to finish 3rd, which they finished 6th. But I think my prediction's still right.
Where did I have them? Is it on their thing too?
You had 4th.
Okay. Yeah, we were all talking. I remember talking at after finals. That was one of the big discussion points after the scores came out. We were like, I don't really see that, but all right.
Yep.
Here's Boston just playing a billion notes. The Whale Show. Ahab.
All the metallic stuff there in the front.
Great isolated force.
Coming back out of that space.
Dude, opening that phrase up with the fives, the flam work between the fast burst rolls, really effective.
Good timing from the front and those accents and the quads.
I forgot how ridiculous the whale sounds were. Sorry.
Dude, that took me out.
Sorry, they were throwing down, and we're getting distracted by Free Willy just freaking going ham into the microphone. Sorry, was that mean? All right, let's watch the Cavaliers. Boston has been Boston the last few years. Just a billion notes, crazy dense battery book, playing it extremely well. There were a lot of moments in there too, and I recommend people rewind and re-listen to what we just watched there. The front layered in perfectly in the middle of those dense battery phrases to like just emphasize certain parts of the builds, the ups and downs. Really interesting writing. I don't want to let that go unnoticed.
No, I mean, it's a great ensemble. That sound effect.
I don't think we remembered how loud they were, like the whale sounds throughout that. And
Yeah, I
Ham.
forgot about that.
Yep. All right, Cavaliers last. They dominated from San Antonio on pretty much, deservedly so. We were in the finals lot. Me, you, and Chris Gary looked at each other. Like the sound was just different.
It was just by far the most consistent ensemble.
Consistent. The sound quality across the battery was just
Even just throughout the exercise packet, you're just
Yeah.
like, all right, this just sounds better than everybody else.
because we had watched other groups, and then right as soon as they started playing eights, all of us just went, "Yep, this is a blended, mature battery sound," and it just maintained through all the exercises, all the book phrases. So good for them. Let's enjoy this one more time, and then we'll wrap this up. Back sticks right into the jump to the edge. That phrase requires so much control. All the little spaces, the work at the edge, isolated doubles.
This front ensemble was nasty, dude.
Killer. Here it is.
Dude, this Achel here, the tap fives at the end.
They nailed him too on finals night. Oof.
Yeah, this I've heard this finals tape too, like the drum tape and stuff. That's another one of those talking about where like the microphone placement is kind of unfortunate for the members what they have as far as the video because it doesn't really reflect how it sounded on the field.
Yeah, unfortunately, but they were great. They deserve to win. You won't convince me otherwise. I think they were the best percussion ensemble that year for sure.
Cadets should have been third or fourth.
I'd probably agree with that too. Yeah, I've enjoyed watching all these shows a couple years later. Like, cause you said it when we were setting up, pulling the timestamps up. You forget, like we forgot the whale sound in Boston. We forgot the acid trip show at Blue Stars. Like,
I forgot how good Colts were. Like,
So solid stuff. We plan to do as many of these down the road as we need to, like, not filler content, but you all know what we mean. When there's not a competitive season going on. In between seasons, yeah. We'll go with that. Otherwise, all the links to all these videos are in the description. All the links to support us as a channel and podcast are in the description. Happy DCI 2025, everybody. And if you're watching this years later, hopefully it was a good season. And we'll see everybody after tour starts.
Peace.